Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a notebook cover, and this is a completed one. This is Teresa Sherman's Faye by Sweet Pea Stamps, and it just uses an ordinary 5x8 notebook that you can purchase anywhere, and it has a fold out here. You have a pocket here and a pocket here, and then it folds out and there's a pocket here, and then there's also another additional pocket here, and then it folds up into the notebook cover. So this is what you will need to do. You need to have a piece of black cardstock. This is going to be 11.5 inches by 8 inches, and you want to score it at 1 1/4 and then flip it around, and you're going to score it at 5 inches and again at 5 1/4 inches. I've chosen to line this one with a sheet of paper. This other one was unlined, so you could choose. I've just glued that on now just for the sake of time to make it a little bit faster while I show this tutorial. So I also have used an envelope. The envelope is 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. And what I have done is I have removed the top flap, and then here would be the flap that's on the side. I've also removed those and cut those off. So it looks like this. And that's just your little pocket and fold it in half. And then what you want to do is use a circle punch. You can see that same piece here that has a circle punched out here, 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 and here. And depending on the look that you want, I actually on this one only did it on one of the sides. You can see here there's 2 on the front, and then on the back side I chose to leave that straight, and I just did 1 there. So it depends on your preference on what you like in your style. So this one I'm going to be making with both of those, and you will need 2 prints that are 4 1/4 by 2 5/8, and then you will need some other prints that are 4 by 4 1/4, and then we'll just be gluing these on. You want to just apply your glue. Make sure that when you apply your glue that you go completely to the edges. And just so you know, for planning purposes, it folds out this way when it's attached. So whichever one is this side is going to be the front. So whichever one you want to be on the front, I think I'll have this one on the front. You'll go ahead and go all the way to the edges and glue it. You want to keep in mind too, when you're thinking about decorating your pieces, that you make sure that you pick something that is on the flat side. It's really fun to get it really exciting embellishments and have them be really dimensional, but you want to keep in mind that these are for the purpose of putting things in, and it'll be folded up inside, and so you want to make sure that whatever you choose to put on it is more on the flat side. On this one I actually did a little bit more here, but it was still quite flat, and so was this. So when you're planning, you want to think about that also, so that you don't make your envelope too bulky with all of your decorations. So we're going to go ahead and continue gluing, and I have used some walnut stain distress ink on the edges, which if you're not a distresser, that just means that I have put ink around the edges, and I use a little tool like this and just go ahead and ink the edges like that. You don't have to use a tool. You can use a sponge or really any ink that's in the color that you like that matches. So there's our completed side there, and then we'll go ahead and put some glue on this side. I just pre-put my decoration on the top just to save a little bit of time so that you didn't have to watch too many of the boring parts. And then just line it up here. Want to make sure that we try to keep it kind of even on the black portion that's showing, so it doesn't look lopsided. There's that. Try to do this quickly. I could have pre-glued this, but I thought then you wouldn't be able to see the envelope in its unfinished state, and that might be kind of confusing. So there we are. So now we have all of our little pieces glued, and we're ready to move on to gluing it here. Now you want to make sure that you only extend your glue as far as that flap reaches. And if you choose to make it a different size, just make sure that your flap on the edge is not going to show once your pocket is completed, because that would just be tacky. So, this here, some glue. And just make sure that you line it up nicely along the bottom so that when this is finished, we keep it as neat as possible. Just like that. And then we would do the edges, just the edges, because this is a pocket and we don't want to glue it shut. And there we go. We'll stick that down. And then afterwards you would want to take a pair of scissors and just cut here and just remove that piece off so that that's not there. I'm going to do that later to save time. But when it's completed, your flap will not be there. So see how this one's completely gone. Okay, so then we are ready to do this part, and like I said before, we have a little full pocket here that's double-sided. That makes it so that it reinforces when you're going to put things in the pocket there. So what I've done is I have my piece of paper, and it has been cut to 5 inches by 5 inches and then folded diagonally along that line. So that will just go right here. You want to make sure that you just do the L part along the edge here so that you don't glue the pocket shut. And then I like to put a little bit of glue inside just to make sure that nothing's popping out once it's all glued, because those pieces can sandwich together just like that. So we'll go ahead and place that down. And if you wanted to, you can put kind of a flatter, fun little embellishment along here if you wanted to, or if you really like your paper, you could leave it plain and not have the extra embellishment. It kind of depends on how bulky the items you plan to stick in are. I actually went ahead and did that on this one, where it has a little border that goes along the edge there and some borders here. So there is that part. And then what we want to do, I would recommend using a glue gun to glue down your cardboard piece, because this is kind of a lightweight chipboard, and it may come up with the glue. If you have a really strong glue, it may not, but you just want to glue that, and you'll just go ahead and line it up. Make sure that you're on that line so that you give yourself enough space for that to fold. That's really important, that that has enough space so that when you close it up, it's going to bend nicely and not get stuck. So just like that. So once you've glued that together, you would glue your piece on the front, and this I've already pre-glued. That's just another pattern piece of paper that's 5 by 8 inches, and then I have decorated it with this cute little image. This is actually by Elizabeth Bell, and it's called Teeny Tiny from Sweet Pea Stamps. And I have colored her with Copics and distressed the edges and put her on backed on a paper, and I have some little, see if I can show it in the camera, some little other pop-ups. And actually what I did with her is kind of a fun technique that I use sometimes, which is I stamp it twice, and when I color it, as you can see, if I tilt it a little bit, you can see that she kind of pops out a little bit. You can see it a little bit better in real life than you can on the camera, but what I've done is I've colored her and then I cut her out and her wings out, and that makes her kind of pop a little bit more because she sits up a little bit higher on the paper because she's on top of the second colored image, which is underneath. So that's kind of a fun technique that you can use if you want your images to pop. So I put Dream Big on there, and there is my notebook cover. And that would be perfect for back to school. Maybe you have a child that would like to take a decorated fun little notebook to school for their homework, or maybe as a teacher appreciation gift or a gift for a friend. Any of those things would be kind of a fun use for that. So thank you for joining me.